My name is Richard Ogachi. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. It can't get better, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I've seen people liking and following my videos. Thank you. Thank you so much. And today, I was talking about challenges I've experienced as a registered nurse. And today, I'm going to talk about what I experienced in my early years of practice as a registered nurse, and maybe this like something like this, or maybe it may get different, but I promise you it's going to be interesting. Thank you so much, and let's start doing this. Let's get into this. So one more challenge that I ever experienced, and by the way, I almost quit nursing. I almost quit nursing, but so in my early years of practice as a registered nurse, I was working for the Ministry of Health, devolved staff to Nairobi County, and we had the Secretary General for Kenya National Union of Nurses, Seth Panyako, had we had intentions of forming county Kenya National Union of Nurses groups, so that at least the union can be represented in every county. So we had Nairobi County Kenya National Union of Nurses branch, which was representing Nairobi County staff. That's Nairobi County registered nurses. So that time, it was also actually the initial early when the Kenya National Union of Nurses was formed. So during that time, there was a strike. The registered nurses went on strike. Actually, it was health workers. The whole healthcare system was in limbo because nurses went on strike, and there was no services in government hospitals. And the strike lasted almost, I remember it was almost more than 100 days. Come on, guys. The strike lasted for more than 100 days in a country where people go to government hospitals for healthcare, more than 95% of people. Very sad situation. And that happens even today, by the way. The other day, we had clinical officers on strike. They've just called off their strike because they had a deal with government. I hope it's something good. But what usually happens when the government health workers are on strike? It's a very sad situation most of the time. But you know what? I know that's the time when private hospitals also now show their might and show their compassion by, at least, because of the numbers, they're able to see more people also, and they are able to help and intervene, at least get to attend to people as people wait for government health workers to come back from their strike. So at that time, the cabinet secretary, it was not cabinet secretary, by the way, it was before the new constitution government. We had a minister, we had a health minister. And the minister that time was His Excellency, the governor for Kisumu, Lupita Nyong'o's dad, Professor Nyong'o. That guy, never forget in my life, I would never forget Professor Nyong'o. He was the cabinet secretary, he was the minister for health. And so as officials, we went to Nyayo House, which is the headquarters for the Ministry of Health. We went for a meeting representing Nairobi County nurses. We went to Ministry of Health Afya House for a meeting. Of course, they were trying to have conversations to at least end the strike. So we went and had a long meeting with the minister. We deliberated and, negotiating. And I remember, by the way, do you know how much money we were fighting to have increased for the nurses? Actually, I think it was less than 3,000 shillings. That's less than $30 extra in a month. So we went to Afia House. We had a meeting with the cabinet secretary and other officials. I think it was the director of medical services at the DMS was then, I think, I don't remember exactly who it was. Maybe it was not Muragori. Muragori came later. But there was somebody else and I think the DNS, the director of nursing. We had other cadre of staff. We had, I think it was medical doctors at the Ministry of Health. There were so many, like 7 people in the meeting from the Ministry of Health, and we were 4 officials from Nairobi County, and I think we were with the Secretary General, Seth Panyako. And Seth Panyako also was with, I think it was Munderu or something, the treasurer. I think she's retired now. So we had very good conversations. That guy was full of energy, like, okay, you guys, we have your interest at heart, and, we are trying to help health workers, get pay increase, and, we know the conditions the nurses work. We know the challenges they go through. We know the issues they face working as nurses. And, we saw like, okay, these guys are interested to solve. They're interested to bring this to an end, But it was in the morning at around 10. So we had a meeting up to about midday. That was like 2 hours. And then we were not able to agree, by the way. So he said that they never had money that time, so the government didn't have budget to increase nurses' pay, and they said that, you know what, just go ahead and call off the strike and let people go back to work, and then we will be able to tell you what we can do for you guys. And then I think we got very disappointed. We got very agitated. We left that meeting, and we went to consult other nurses, and we had a meeting. We had a series of meetings about the situation and what the minister had promised. We went and made calls before at least make a decision, and it was so difficult. So, I was full of energy, like, okay, looking at the money, the amount that we were being paid, looking for a better pay, like an extra, it was less than 3,000 shillings, by the way. That was really sad. So, we went and before we say that we are supposed to make a conclusion with the minister, then we go for a press conference and tell the nurses what we've decided, what we've agreed, and give them feedback. So before we had a meeting, we wanted to have a meeting in the afternoon. I saw in the news, I think it was Citizen News then, the Minister for Health, Professor Nyong'o, he had a press conference with the media stations, and you know what he said? You don't want to hear what he said, man. He said, in the glare of the media and camera, he said that tell those fools to go back to work. Tell those fools to go back to work, man. So this guy was referring to all the nurses who were on strike, the whole country, as fools. And do you know what he said after that? He said that the money that we were fighting for, an increment for the nurses, that was $30 and less was not even his lunch. Was not even his lunch. He said, and I quote, that tell those fools to go back to work. And the money that we were trying to ask them to increase and pay the nurses was not even his lunch. My goodness. I had never like surprised. I got very surprised. I got very surprised that guy said that, because the meeting that we had, everything was like positive, you guys, let's go consolidate, let's go, I only realized later that he only came to study our mood and then get to see what exactly we wanted. He wanted like to fix us to accept and call off the strike, and so that they could go back to normal business, because there was agitation, like the whole country, nurses were on strike. So when we saw that press conference, when we heard him say that, then the nurses got so agitated, and then people were out in the streets like demonstrating. And so I went and sat down, like trying to think about that statement, like what it means. So, I didn't even take that statement negative for me, because if this is a cabinet secretary who is in charge of a health docket, is actually professor, I think he's a lawyer, is a renowned lecturer. I think he was lecturing at the university. He has been MP in Kisumu for many years, many terms. He's been governor 2 terms. I think he was senator also. I don't remember, but I may be wrong, but correct if I'm wrong. I think he was senator and now governor 2 terms. And this guy just spit on us, just spit on our face, peed on us on broad daylight, on national TV. He said that he called nurses fools. I'm like, what? And I got a lot of energy. Like I said, okay, maybe we are fools, maybe we are fools. That's when I came to ask myself, like, what exactly are nurses? By the way, I think, what exactly are we? Who are we? This guy is abusing all of us on national media and calling us fools. Everyone needs a nurse at some point, Every individual, you need a nurse at some point. I'm not saying that is supposed to make you feel like you have to be at the mercy of the nurse. No, but just mutual respect. Just respect nurses, please. Come on, give some damn respect to nurses, please. Yeah? Because I've also seen like some people who are not nurses also, like trivializing nurses and saying all manner of things, because Africa reaches at nurses, there is no respect. The nurses are used and abused in Africa, but things are really changing. Like I respect institutions like Kenyatta Hospital. There are other MTRH, Moi Referral and Teaching Hospital in Eldoret, nurses, they've taken their space. I think it also was motivated maybe by most nurses, maybe in the past, having low self-esteem. They have poor self-concept. Maybe they are not able to stand for themselves. Maybe they were taking themselves as being subordinate to the doctors. When you you come from a position of inferiority, like you feel like you're not able, the other person is always better than you, then you give the other people a chance to look down upon you. Man, maybe that's the case, I don't know. But even before, by the way, another incident, So before actually I became a nurse, I was with my uncle in one of the big hospitals in Nairobi. That was Nairobi Hospital. So we went to the nursing school in Nairobi Hospital, trying to figure out like which nursing school can I join. We went there, and as we were walking in the street, in the hallways, in the corridors, my uncle, like we saw a nurse, and my uncle was prompting me like, can you ask that nurse maybe where we can go to the administration department? You know the words he used? He said, like that canas, the canas is like a tiny little thing. And, nurse is seen as maybe a casual laborer, or maybe you don't have like, you are just inferior, you are you're subordinate, you don't, like, you can't shine, you can't be up there, because maybe you don't know better, maybe, they look down upon nurses like they are people who don't know what they're doing. By the way, even having said that, let me also now give the other context in the US. So since I came to the US, I have never, like, nursing is so respected as a profession, and nurses are so respected, And what I like most about nurses, in the hospital, at the parking lot, is where I just keep looking at the vehicles, my friend nurses. The nurses, they have number plates, they have they have options to, like, customize their number plates to being, the number plates is customized, like, be a nurse, be a nurse, be a nurse, and then it has a smaller stethoscope on it, man. That's in kind of, like, you feel like you're the person, you're the thing, you're running the show. Power. People want, like, to be noticed and be seen. People want their presence to be felt. But man, the cabinet secretary for Ministry of Health Kenya called nurses fools in broad daylight, in the glare of the media, on a press conference. That's when I really asked myself a lot of questions, like, what is this? Why am I here? What am I doing? Like, this is not the thing. In fact, I really scaled down I immediately resigned as an official of Kenya National Union of Nurses. Immediately, the same day, I think it was the following day, I resigned as an official of the Kenya National Union of Nurses, Nairobi County. Low key, I decided this is not for me. This is a fight. We are fighting. We are fighting a losing battle. We have lost already, because you see, that is the person we were negotiating with in their offices. They know how important we are. Without nurses in the hospital, you cannot run healthcare. And then this guy comes. He doesn't know what it means to be a nurse, by the way, in the first place. He doesn't know what nurses do, I think, because if he thinks they are fools, come on, like, if he thinks they are fools, it honestly doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he doesn't know what nurses do anyways. So, but you know what? I said, this is not for me. I resigned as a union official. I know Panyako and the rest of the guys also kept going, and they're still going even today. But I just left and never went back. Never went back as an official for the Kenya National Union of Nurses. And some of my colleagues, I think it was Kyoko and Eunice, I don't know where they are now. Maybe they are retired. They were wherever they were. But it really hurt my emotions. And that's when I realized that nurses are not respected. There's no respect. They don't respect nurses in Africa. We are used and abused. But you know what? Things gotta change, man. Things gonna change. We are the people, We run the show. We provide healthcare. We wipe ass. Some of the people, like, when you are abroad, the conversations that goes on in Africa or in Kenya, for example, what usually happens is you see a lot of people, if it's a nurse who is maybe trying maybe to post online, or the thing what people say is, you, because of jealousness, like being jealous of people who are abroad, they always say that maybe, he's going to wipe people's asses, he's gonna wipe, or you're gonna wash or wipe poop, so to put it into context, by the way, everyone will need your ass to be wiped. By the way, it's only time before you need your ass wiped. You cannot tell people that you can look down upon people because they wipe ass. Wiping ass is business. We are in the business of bedpans, by the way. That's our business. I know I struggle with that, but we are in the business of wiping ass. And you see, when everyone will need your ass to be wiped, your cousin's ass is being wiped and will be wiped, and your uncle ass is gonna be wiped. Maybe tomorrow your brother's ass will be wiped, by the way. Again, next week or next year, I don't know when, but at least somebody who is so dear to you's ass will be wiped. Who is going to wipe this ass, by the way? Who is going to wash this poop? Who is going to wash this poop? Somebody has to wash this poop, please. And we have to have somebody to wipe this poop. And the more people we have wiping us, the better. The more people we have wiping us, the better for you. We have our grandparents, we have our older people, people who've been who've made the most impact in the world. They are now in their 90s, they're in their 60s, they're in their 70s, and they're sick. They need care. Who exactly do you want to help these people? Who do you want to take care of these people? We have to take care of these people. And by the way, what I always recommend almost all the time, most people who've never worked in healthcare, they don't have context. They never have context, by the way. I always recommend volunteering with hospice or long-term care, or I think maybe mortuary. You need to volunteer in the morgue. You need to volunteer in the morgue. You need to volunteer in hospice. You need to volunteer in long-term care, or even work in long-term care. Some of the nurses who work in the hospitals, by the way, in the US, I see like most of them, like because of preference, some of them don't like working in nursing homes. Some of them don't like long-term care because, of course, the ratios are not good. But you know what? Long-term care changed my life. Long-term care changed my life, by the way, because long-term care is where I came to realize that what is this business? What is this business? And like you're always on the next move. You think you will be here forever. You will never be here forever. You get to a point where you have to be slowed down. Some of the people in nursing homes, in long-term care, they have been super hardworking people in their lives. They've worked so hard in their life, and now they're in their sunset years, and they need help. They need care. They need dignity. They need to be taken care of. Who's going to take care of these people? Come on, guys. Be kind to nurses sometimes, guys. I'm not lecturing you or reprimanding you, but some of the words that I used about what nurses do, come on, we are here for compassion. We are here to be there for you. We are here to take care of you guys. We are here to take care of our family, We take care of your family. We sometimes take care of our own family too. Our families also fall sick. We need compassion too. And we give compassion. And we have to do it. And I think when we do it, sometimes, the long grilling hours of nursing care in the hospital 12 hours mostly. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's tiresome. You get tired, you know. You also need energy. You need to re-energize yourself and say, and you know what? We can do this. We can take care of these people. These people need us. We can take care of them. It can't get this better, guys. And I know that even Nyong'o, even if it disrespects nurses, you know, he needs nurses too to take care of him at some point. Actually, at some point also, he was sick. He needed care, and he was given the care that he needed. And I know nurses were at the center of his care, by the way. So, were they fools? Absolutely not. So, guys, this is Richard Ogachi. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And I pray that you guys, when we share this, it's only informational. This is about fun. This is about sharing this kind of stories. And, you know, we are trying to break, like, not being too serious. Thank you so much. I'll see you again next time. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.